Hey everybody, welcome to Brain Talk Tuesday. This is Danielle Daniel, Holistic Psych here with you, and I'm an LCSW and Doctor of Clinical Psychology student, and I love essential oils. So we're going to actually dive into a little bit more on essential oils and the brain. As you guys know, that is my forte, that is my focus actually in my doctorate, is researching just the neuropsychological effects that essential oils have on the brain and how that interacts with moods and emotions. And so it's not just about, making something up, for example. I'm really looking at the science, and the science has been done for years and years on different plant compounds across the world, okay? And they also break down those plant compounds and study them individually. And so we're going to actually talk about Magnolia essential oil today, and more in particular, the main component of it, which is linalool. So thank you guys for joining, and as you know, I do Brain Talk Tuesdays. Every single Tuesday you can join me live. If you're on live with me right now, please say hello. Hi Kelly, hi Frank, good to see you guys on. And type in where you're joining from. I really love to get to know my audience and connect with you guys. And I was gone for like a month, and I missed you guys. I missed that connection. It's really fun to be involved. So as you're joining too, this might be a good time, if you're watching the recording or the live video, to tag someone in here that may be of interest in learning a little bit more about the science and the brain, as well as maybe share this in a group. You can share this in some of your groups or on your Facebook feed. And if there's somebody out there, excuse me, that can be a scribe, what I call like someone that's a commenter, if you can do comment some of the key points that I give, that really helps everybody learn better. Sorry, I have a tickle in my throat. And it will also help with some keywords that I might say. Even if you don't spell stuff right, that's okay. Don't even worry about it. So good morning, everybody. Good morning, Leland, Hawaii, Frank in Los Angeles. So great to be on with you. Hi, Claudia. We've got a lot of Californians on. In fact, when I look at my video statistics, a lot of it's California. It's kind of fun because that's where I'm at. So I am in San Diego, California, as you guys know, and finishing my doctorate this year. I'll be done in next summer. So really excited to publish more content with my doctoral dissertation on essential oils in the brain. So, all right, well, let's dive right in. And what I'm going to talk about is Magnolia. One thing, as you can see in the title, was Magnolia helps with self-love. I hear a lot, and there's even books published on how this essential oil is good for restoring, your self-worth or your self-esteem and all these things. And it doesn't make sense to me. I'm going to just be fully honest. I read that stuff and I almost want to roll my eyes and go, whatever. And because I'm so science and analytical. And honestly, I have been using, and Magnolia is the one that's driven me to really understand this side of how the essential oils, restore your positive vibe or something like that. But it's really with the ones that don't have sciencey terms, right? Am I alone in this? Some of you guys read just the claims of all these emotional things, and you're just like, where are they making that up from, right? I have always thought that, and I like science, I like neuropsychology, and Magnolia, okay? It changed my world. I have been using this now for about a month, and it's like every time I feel it, or I use it, I feel this just restoring of this self-love. And I'm like, okay, what is going on here? So I need the science. So how many of you guys have used this? And what are your thoughts on it? What have you used it for? And I'd love to have you type that in. I can't get enough of it, and I've noticed it does kind of bring me back down to a grounding type state. So, yep, I feel the same, Kim. I feel like I'm addicted to it because I love the smell. So let's talk a little bit about Magnolia, and then I'm going to go into the casual, sciencey connection that I can make to why it's helping me feel that way. And that's really important to me, is understanding a little bit of the science on it. And so let me go into just what Magnolia is. I love the, world history and all that kind of stuff. So I love to kind of learn about plants around the world. So Magnolia is a tropical flower, and it's in traditional health. It's found in China and Thailand. It's been used to balance the body. I thought that was cool. And I can feel that it doing that. So I want to understand the science, why Yeah, Claudia's like, I'm there with you on the science. Yep, I like the backup. And here's the great thing is I'm like you. I want the science to back it up, but it's making me feel good and I don't understand the science, so I'm still going to use it. So that's where I'm going to kind of go into like some of the casual science that I found on this. Okay, so Magnolia essential oil is distilled from fresh petals of a flowering tree. So it's a costly oil due to the difficulty growing and harvesting the blossoms. I'm reading this from a doTERRA blog. And let's see, their Magnolia is sourced in China. And I want to read more about it. It says, fun fact, I thought this was cool. Magnolia blossoms must be picked by hand early in the morning or late in the afternoon in order for the extract of the essential oil to be available. In order to extract the essential oil, I thought that was cool. There are over 200 varieties of magnolia, a genus flowering plants native to Asia and the Americas. And doTERRA magnolia comes from, it's a Latin term, Michelia ex alba. I don't know if I'm botching that, but it's all good. And a variety of that flourishes in Southeast Asia. It's also called white champaka or white jade. I thought that was pretty, white jade. And thank you for Kim for typing in and being my scribe. I appreciate that. Magnolia trees grow, I thought this was cool. I like this kind of stuff. So magnolia trees can grow to nearly 100 feet tall. Who knew that? I didn't know that. That's crazy. And so what the farmers do, because it's just, so they used to just let them grow, and they would have to create all the scaffolding to get up there and harvest the flowers. So now what they do is they grow the trees in giant wooden or cement containers to block that growth. And then they plant them in the ground still in those containers. And that way the tree grows, but it grows outward rather than upward. And it allows the harvesters to pick the flowers with greater safety. And they grow to about 6 feet tall with this. So that's still tall for me. I would need a ladder, but it's not as like 100 feet taller. 100 feet tall. It says magnolia blossoms can be harvested off the trees in the summer and then again in the late fall or early winter. So only 2 times a year. So really fun, right? And Nicole's like, yeah, isn't it awesome to just learn so much more about magnolia? So the chemistry of magnolia, we're looking at, it's similar to ylang ylang, lavender, and bergamot, which are all high in linalool, okay? So your companion oils are going to be the bergamot, the ylang ylang, and lavender. It also would go good with jasmine, don't you think? Oh, that's what it says on here too, but I would think that jasmine would be awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the emotional piece. And again, for me to do this, I had to connect the science. And so the connection I have, again, just groundbreaking, kind of pioneering here, is I've been studying a lot, with our emotions and our thoughts. And so far, to me, everything comes back down to 2 bases of emotion that we operate out of. One is fear and one is faith. Okay? So when we look at, and those are 2 very strong forces, right? Fear is a motivator, and so is faith is a motivator. But they're different energies behind them, and that's what I'm going to talk about. And fear, when I say fear, I'm not saying it's like, oh, I'm scared in an alley type fear. That is fear, but there are other ways we operate out of fear. Fear of losing your house, fear of like that type of a stuff. And it's a motivator, it's an energy, but it's an exhausting energy, okay? It doesn't have this long-lasting energy as faith does. So we're going to go into this. Okay, so fear response in the body, what happens when we operate out of fear, it produces a myriad of excess neurochemicals. One of them is also cortisol. We've got adrenals, which are norepinephrine, and then we got glutamate, which glutamate is an excitatory neurotransmitter. Okay, so where did I go? Adrenaline, yes. So fear causes, I'm just reading my notes here, our body to go on defenses as well. So if one of a fear response is if we pick up something hot, and our immediate response is our body to defend itself and go, drop it. And so you just immediately drop that, even though you may have burned your hand. So again, it just causes our entire body to go into a defense mode. Sometimes it's the fight or flight. It gets to that heightened extent. But you can see how it activates the central nervous system and just causes like, oh my gosh, be aware of everything. And then what it does is it shuts down the usage or the proper processes of other organs and like immune system functions in the body. So your immune system takes a back burner so that we can work out of fear. This is why people get adrenal fatigue. So operating out of fear is an energy, but it's also a very draining and negative energy. And then let me give you an example, because I've been analyzing this. I'm like, okay, fear and faith, is that really this base? Is that the two bases that we operate out of? Like if we can bring everything back down to two things, I would say it's fear and faith. And this past week, I spoke with an acquaintance that I've known for a long time, but I haven't, seen for a while. And I went and hung out with them. And what was interesting is, this cat, stop it. She's a wonderful human being, love her, but she operates out of blaming and victim and just very draining type of thought style, very negative. What did I write on here? Victim and overwhelm. That was just like, everything. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we'll be able to. We don't make it like that. And the whole time I'm with her, I was feeling the drain. And I was feeling also very defense, just like, just like, I don't want to be around that. And just like this defense mechanism came upon me. And so when I got home, I was like, okay, why did I feel this reaction inside that way? So again, I'm analyzing back down to fear and faith. And I realized it's true. We operate either out of fear or faith. So I operated out of fear in that moment. I took on her fear. And I operated out of fear like, I don't want to be like that. So do you see where my base root of fear was causing me to be on a defense mechanism where I don't want to be like that? Instead of having faith going, I will operate different. I trust I will operate in a different way, and I can just love on her and not judge and get defensive just because of how she is and who she is. Does that make sense? So this is where I want to go to what faith is like. So there's always this underlying motivation of fear or faith, and faith is what? When you guys think about faith, besides just like thinking of a religious sense, like believing in God, there's other, faith is an actual motivating energy. So what is faith? It's motivational, right? It's a force of hope. It's love. It's charity. It's trust. Do you trust that the sun will shine on you tomorrow? Yeah, you have faith in that. You just know it will. I mean, how do you know? Because it has a pattern of doing it, but how do you know one day it just won't come up? Does that make sense? It's a trust. It's a confidence. Can you see how faith is really the root of all of these other emotions? So it's really been helping me just emotionally and personally understanding the root of the two, faith or fear. And so with like my friend that I told you about, that I operated out of a place of fear, I don't want to be like that, I don't want to operate. And so I started getting defense and not feeling any love for her or myself in that moment. So when you come back to faith, again, you come back to this love and kindness, understanding, but also this trust and this hope. And they're like, I will operate different. She can operate that way, and I know she'll figure it out. Okay, faith is able to see through the problems rather than react with fear and anger. So helping me bring it back down to these two. So now let's go into Magnolia. So as I talked to you about, Magnolia has high in linalool. So let me just tell you some of the things it's been found to be good with, especially linalool. It's good for sleep. So this is a good one to put on for sleep. It's good for calming. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Anxiousness. Okay, so it's a really good one for anxiousness or a hyper mood or a tantruming child, maybe impatience. It's also good for meditation, and I'm going to show you why. And what I added on here is that it's good to calm fear and to inspire faith. And this is my like casual science connection to this. So I looked at some studies, and a lot of the studies that show it helps with anxiousness, right? And how do you think it helps with anxiousness? What is it calming? It's calming the fear response in the body. The fear, which is igniting cortisol, it's igniting the central nervous system, right? To produce different neurochemicals, glutamic acid, which is an excitatory neurotransmitter, adrenaline neurotransmitters as well, like norepinephrine and epinephrine. So one study that I just am going to refer to right here, it showed that linalool interacted with the glutamatergic system in the brain. Okay, so it showed that it caused an inhibitory effect on the glutamic binding. Okay, so again, we're looking at, okay, we're responding in fear and anxiousness as mode of fear, and it actually caused a calming system through the at the central nervous system, and also with central nervous system with convulsions, and so the body going into like a heightened state and convulsing. So can you see, like, that is a start for us to understand when someone says it helps restore self-love. Well, if you look at what's the opposite of self-love, right? You've got self-hatred or fear. So it's all based in fear, and the fear response in the body causes a certain chemical reaction. Linalool helps calm that fear-based chemical reaction, restoring you to a sense of faith and a sense of self-love. So wanted to share my big, huge epiphany, because I've always rolled my eyes and blah, blah, you know, about the non-sciencey explanations. And here's the thing, is just because someone doesn't have the science to explain it yet, it doesn't mean that it's not true. And I've been using Magnolia pretty much daily. Any moment that I just need to feel back to being more centered, like, it really helps me clear my thoughts. And what I mean by that is if I'm just like, oh, I gotta do this, I'm like, well, you know what? Let me figure out what is more important to do. Let me kind of meditate and get grounded. Now I'll put Magnolia on pulse points on my neck. I'll smell it in, and it helps my brain go from like, I need to do all this to, okay, I can focus and I need to do this. So that should sciencey wise help you understand that. Another great place is going to be the back of the neck. And if you don't love the smell, that's okay. You know what? Use it anyway, or choose another one that you do like the smell of, bergamot. I'll just share with you, I did not like the smell of geranium, and I needed it. And every time I read stuff about geranium, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what I need. I just made myself use it, and now I love the smell. So there's that, or use a different one that you do like. It's not a huge deal. So Kim says it helps clear your thoughts, ground you, and focus you. Oh yeah, you're typing in my stuff. Thank you so much, Kim. I so appreciate someone typing that in. Another place you can put it, especially if it's a boy and doesn't want to smell like it, you could also use bergamot or ylang-ylang for a guy. But the bottom of the big toe, okay, right there, and just stimulate it. Just by stimulate, it just means like massage it real quick. That's another great place to put it. And a companion oil, you could do it at night with lavender. If you really want to improve focus, like if you've got a child that maybe has problem with being a little too hyper or inattentive, and it needs help with just like grounding self down. So I got hiccups all of a sudden. I would use it with ylang-ylang and sandalwood. Okay, so Magnolia, ylang-ylang, and sandalwood would be an amazing grounding blend. If you don't have sandalwood, use cedarwood. They're a little bit different, but they both cause calming. So there you guys go. Great to be connected with you on the Brain Talk Tuesday. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. And yeah, we'll see you guys then. I'm trying to think of anything else to say, but I don't think so. All right, have a good rest of your day. All right, everybody. Bye.